Good morning, chess fans all over the world. We are following Levy Rosman's adventures in Spilimbergo Open in Italy. This is it. This is the final day of one of Levy's first tournaments after his return to the competitive chess and attempting to get the Grandmaster title. So we are in for a treat today. I'm Latvian Grandmaster at the Nations. I've been Levy's coach since May of this year. We have worked very hard to get this far, and let's just hope that today Levy is going to succeed. If we look back at the tournament so far, Levy has 5 points out of 8. He had a rather rocky start, mainly because he arrived in Italy a day before the tournament was given a green light. There were reasons for that, but he was seriously jet lagged, didn't have proper sleep for several days, and it clearly influenced his play. But he has managed to recover. In round 7, he scored one of the most beautiful victories you've probably seen lately. Check out the recaps on Levy's, Hikaru's, or my channels. I already saw a couple of video compilations made about it. It was truly fascinating time to watch it live. Yesterday he played a rather short draw because he was unable to get anything out of the opening. Maybe he was slightly better at some point. But today, dear viewers, Levy faces the final boss. Because, okay, so far he had pretty serious opponents. He had youngsters from India. He had top women players. He had local talent. Mainly young players, but today is the day when he is finally battle tested by a very strong and experienced grandmaster, the final boss. He's 3-time Italian champion. He has been a chess professional for a long time, Alberto David. So that's the name you should know, because this is the guy who has been over 2600 at his best years, 2631. Which, by the way, is my highest Elo rating as well when I was at my peak. So he won the Italian Championship 3 times. Alberto was representing Luxembourg for many, many years. I believe he was born in Milan and then moved the family to Luxembourg at age 4, something like that. And then they stayed there for many, many years until he transferred back to Italy at some point later. He played many years for Luxembourg in World Chess Olympiads, and yeah, after his transfer to Italy, he has won the Italian Championship 3 times. Very serious player, very strong player, but also the video is lagging a bit. I don't know why. Just a second. Let me check. Oh yeah. So. Just a second, what I was saying here. Yeah, because I got just texted by Levy that he has some problems with the setup. Yeah, so he forgot to bring the adapter. Hopefully the phone is not gonna die. Anyway, Alberto David is not only a strong grandmaster, but he is one of the nicest people I know in chess. Very, very kind person. And we have been teammates in French Team Chess Championships before, so I know him a bit. Played, I believe, 1 or 2 years together. This year, actually, he was the opposition. Anyway, so fun player, great player. And I played against Alberto this June because he was no longer my teammate, he was my opposition. And when we were doing the pre-game prep, obviously I told everything to Levy about my experience with Alberto, how strong he is, what are his strongest sides. He is a very practical player who's not afraid to fight. So if you're gonna throw a challenge at David and say, come and fight, he's gonna do it. I mean, he's not afraid. But he's also a very pragmatic player, very solid player. And I think this is going to be a true test to Levy. Because if he would play the entire Open tournament and not get a single Grandmaster, I think he would be pretty disappointed. I mean, okay, still, experience, etc., but you need to play against Grandmasters. So that's why all you need to know is that Levy was very happy to get Alberto as his opponent, even though he is one of the pre-tournament favorites. He was seeded number 4, I believe. But yesterday he lost. And you know, I don't know what happened there because it was so weird. So Alberto was completely losing, like down a piece. If you can trust the transmission of the game, his opponent blundered the queen to give a fork which was not even there. And Alberto resigned. You know, I don't know what it is. I find it very hard to believe. Probably there's a transmission error or something. That's the only explanation. I don't believe that he didn't notice that the king is pinned. So you have to see the game yourself. I'm not going to bring it up. But anyway, it doesn't really mean anything. Maybe Alberto is his final boss opponent, the final test, and a way to finish this tournament. So obviously Levy is going to play for the win. And when we looked at potential ways to start the game, when I was playing against Alberto in France, we played the Queen's Indian defense. I was pushing for most of the game. Alberto made a draw in the end. He after the game, can you imagine this? He even apologized about this. You know, he was so nice. I mean, he's such a nice guy. And he just even apologized that he was playing so passively and holding on. And we had a chat. So I'm not sure what's going to happen today, but the plan is to play c4. When we looked at some of the potential scenarios, the fair chance is that Alberto is going to play e5. This is what we expect. But there are backup plans as well. So I'm not going to obviously reveal all the prep. So first, let's wait and see what's going to happen if Alberto indeed is going to play what he's going to play. So we think it's going to be c4, e5. But one thing you have to know is that Alberto is a very smart player. I mean, he's a true professional. So you think like you prepare against him and he's going to play exactly what you prepared, right? Well, think again. Because he knows that Levy is prepping. I do not know if he's aware that I'm his coach. I think he knows, you know, but there are people who, by the way, still don't know that. And I'm pretty sure that he's aware who Levy Rosman is, that he's a big-time content creator, obviously. And basically, if he has done some basic math that 2 + 2 is 4, I think he is aware that I'm coaching him. I think he is aware I've told Levy everything I know about him. He knows that I've told Levy that Queen's Indian defense might be very serious contention. And we were considering this, to play Queen's Indian. But Levy's going to go back to the roots and play the English opening. He feels really good. And finally, Levy is in shape. He finally is rested. Finally feels the rhythm. There comes Alberto on the board. And I said, I mean, Levy, you're going to like him instantly. There comes Alberto and talks about, why are you putting me on the camera? And Levy explains, yes, you have something like 15 and 20 or 20,000 people watching you. So I don't think that Alberto really minds it. He's a very, very positive guy. You can see they're having some banter. And yeah, it's going to be great. So one of my most favorite players, to be honest, in the circuit. But of course, we're cheering for Levy. It's going to be a great fight. It's going to be a great day. So the time control for this game is 19 minutes for the entire game. Nothing has changed. So this means, plus of course 30 seconds per every main move. But this means if this game is going to continue with a normal pace, then you can expect it to be lasting about 4 hours. Yeah. It's actually quite unusual if it finishes very quickly, like in 2 hours. This can happen if somebody blunders very quickly, or I don't know, there's a brain lag in the morning. I mean, actually, it's like 9:30 a.m. in Italy, so yeah, it's not easy to play in the morning. But it might be also quite a drawish position at some point, like yesterday. Everything just kind of died very quickly. There were a lot of trades, and this is something that you have to understand in competitive chess. Sometimes it just happens, and there's nothing you can do about it. Sometimes the boring chess is there, and there's nothing you can do about it. So it happened yesterday. Levy was, of course, pretty mad about it because he was looking for a big fight. But okay, it is what it is. And today he's looking for a big fight, and I think Alberto is going to give it to him, just for content. Today in Italy is very hot, like yesterday. I mean, mainly in Spilimbergo. Spilimbergo is a small town about 1 hour and 20-minute drive from Venice, closer to the borders of Slovenia and Austria. So pull up the map to find out where it is, on Google Maps probably. I've never been there myself. Probably first time for Levy as well. And Alberto has played in Spilimbergo before. I don't know much about Spilimbergo. I know it's a very popular tournament. This is the 22nd edition, if I'm not mistaken. There's a very nice prize fund, something like 8,000 euros, 1,500 for the winner. And it attracts a lot of people because so many people like to play in Italy. I like to play in Italy. I love Italy. I love the Italian players and people in general. Very open, very kind. And Italian food and everything, of course. But of course, it's another problem. It's very hot today. It's like 34 degrees Celsius. So it would be about, I'm not very good with Fahrenheit. You have to forgive me, like 97, 96 degrees Fahrenheit. Not easy to be a chess player in August in Italy. Sometimes this happens, but there's nothing you can do about it. So there's some AC, of course, available in the playing venue. About 500 people are stacked inside, playing some chess. But it is what it is, and today it finishes. Let's hope that Levy is going to get the adapter to charge the phone, otherwise the video feed is simply going to die at some point. And the games are supposed to start, like about right now. I mean, it's 1 minute over, 9:31 local time. Levy's sitting at the streamer's designated table so that he can have his tripod with the phone. You know, Levy told me that from time to time some players come and directly stare at the camera, look what it is. There you go, there's the start of the game. C4 is on the board. Now the big question, is Alberto going to play E5? Aha, and he's like, haha, C4. Now what is the prep? What's the plan for you? What do you have in store for us? We expect E5. Alberto is a principal player, but he's also a smart player. He is going to try to avoid the prep. And this is what I told Levy. Alberto probably is not going to repeat something he has played recently. Aha, you see? He sits down. He's like, wait a second, you play C4? I saw you playing a lot of ready in this opening, in this tournament. So what do you play in C4? Let me try to remember, because I was working with ChessSpace this morning. You did play some games in New York versus Megan Lee. What was there? Because Levy essentially plays a couple of continuations as his first move, like E4, D4, or Knight f3. And it's quite accustomed to stop there for a moment and try to recall. So you might be thinking that Alberto is out of the book. I mean, no, of course not. He's not out of the book. He's just trying to recall. There you go. There's the surprise. B6. Wow. B6. This is smart. I mean, We did not prep for this. I said to Levy, listen, you gotta be ready that Alberto might just play some random stuff. And b6, the Owen defense, or whatever is this versus the English opening, I don't know, maybe Owen is e4, b6. It's pretty random. But now Levy can't really play whatever he was planning to play against e5. I mean, this is something else. So maybe he's trying to steer the game to the Queen's Indian defense after all. You know, one thing I noticed when I was preparing myself against Alberto earlier this June, because if you missed the start, I faced Levy's opponent a couple of months ago myself with the white collar, also in the classical game. I noticed that Alberto really likes Queen's Indian defense or double fianchetto. And I threw these ideas to Levy, but we did not prepare this. We didn't prepare this at all. Aha, so Levy's going to play d4, and we're going to get Queen's Indian. But the thing is, we have talked about this before. So we did not do this in yesterday and this morning because we had 2 sessions. Yesterday evening we did some prep, he had a sleep, and this morning we also looked at some of the ideas here. But now essentially we have something else that was, I mean, you never prepare against b6 and bishop b7. So this is what essentially Levy said in one of the recap videos, is that it's good that sometimes you prep things and they don't happen. Why? Because you might use this knowledge later. So what Alberto is trying to do here, he is trying to trick Levy with the move order and get him out of the prep. But the good news is, Levy here can play literally everything that moves, and he will be guaranteed with an advantage. It's also a psychological warfare, because if you spend a lot of time prepping for the game, and your opponent plays move 1, and you just didn't expect it, you might be feeling, why did I do all of this? Why did I waste time? But okay, Levy plays very quickly. He's not gonna show any weakness here. Knight c3. Opting for some nimzo. But again, he did not repeat this for this particular game. And maybe Alberto is a bit unhappy with the speed how Levy is playing it. He would have loved to see Levy spending 10 minutes to see some unhappiness. But we'll see. There were some questions in the chat. Are we going to see other possibilities for Norm in this tournament? No. No more possibilities for Norm. Unfortunately not, because you need to be performing at 2600 ELO, and you need to face at least 3 Grandmasters. So Levy is just playing only 1 Grandmaster in this tournament, which is his opponent right now. And there's no 2600 performance. Levy's been a bit underperforming in this tournament, a bit, not so much. But everything is good. So with the knight on c3, we no longer are going to get Queen's Indian. And I suppose Levy is just out of the book right now, so which is good. You know, this is something you have to be ready for. You can do your prep, but when you're playing smart players, they're not going to play into your prep. That's how it goes. I would do it. Levy would do it. You just try to destroy your opponent's prep. So now you're out of the book, I suppose. Maybe play some sort of a Petrosian system with a3, stopping bishop b4. Black could play knight f6. And there might be d5 ideas. So let me maybe show you how my game versus Alberto continued. So I play knight f3. And Alberto played, I think, knight f6, g3. He played b6, bishop g2, bishop b7. At some point, I played c4. So I tried to trick him with all of the moves. Alberto played e6. I had noticed that a couple of games he likes to play the double fianchetto, which is not a very good system if you have prepared against this. And I was prepared against this. And I briefed Levy on this. So e6, should castle, bishop e7, d4, and here. And there's many systems. So in the game, I think I played bishop f4. Alberto played here, rook e1, bishop b4, rook e1, here, and I think it was something like knight c3, and we had a very big theoretical discussion. I got a better position, but I was unable to win the game. So what happened here in this game, Alberto says, let's go to the Queen's Indian defense. So if you play knight f3, I'm going to play knight f6. If you play g3, I'm going to play e6. And maybe get to the same position. And Queen's Indian defense is something that has a very solid reputation. By the way, for some reason, nobody, at least I do not know, maybe somebody has written it, there's no lifetime repertoires on Chessable. Nobody has written a course on it. Weird. It's a very solid defense. It has been around for many, many years, and yet I do not know any huge course there. Maybe there is. I might be just not really following what's happening. So the thing here, Levy has to decide, can he play e4? Take the center. And meet bishop b4 with something like bishop d3. And now sometimes there's ideas like a 5. If you take it, bishop takes on g2 might be a problem. And the check on h5 doesn't give anything because black has king f8. So this idea of giving up the center and then challenging it is one of the ways how a game might go. Because if you were a part of one of the previous broadcasts, I already explained the concept of openings. There are 3 types basically of openings. You fight for the center, you play symmetrically d4, d5, or e4, e5, or c4, c5, and you do not allow your opponent to take the center. Then there's a second type of openings. You give it the center away, but you challenge it. You try to destroy it. It's a very fun way to play. And the third way to play it, which I don't really recommend, is ignore center whatsoever. So it's not a very good thing to do. f3. All right. So Levy is like, you want to play? Let's play. And he's improvising right now. I do not think this is prep. This is pure inspirational move. So maybe Levy sensed that, okay, after e4, maybe there's some lines I'm not aware of, like here. By the way, here you can play f3, which should be completely okay. You're playing for some Nimzo position. Bishop e3, bishop d3, knight e2, should castle, and I don't know, 4 maybe at some point later. Very nice center, backed by 2 bishops, space advantage, looks fun. So, actually, yeah, why not the e4 and then play f3? So, we'll see. I mean, okay, probably e4 is going to happen anyway. Or maybe Alberto is going to play bishop e4. And Levy doesn't want to play e4. He wants to play like a3 first. But that's a bit weird, no? Like takes, and now black will play f5. And knight f6. Stopping e4, so I think Levy will have to play e4 anyway. Maybe Alberto here right now is thinking, wait, can I play f5 here? f5, try to play some Dutch defense, lookalike position, e4, take on e4, and with the idea that f takes, maybe I have bishop e4, and whatever happens. There's some queen h4 ideas, hit the king with a check, take the pawn on e4. This is the moment where you stop for a moment. Andrew Nash on YouTube says, I wonder who Artos is rooting for this game. Of course, Levy. But it doesn't mean that I do not like Levy's opponent. I like Alberto. He's a great guy. Sometimes this happens. Also, I would like to once again mention the viewers is that let's respect every person involved. Of course, Levy goes without saying, and the poor coach, but also Levy's opponents, right? They are fighting for themselves. Very often they're good people. Very often, yeah, most of the time, of course. So it's just a game. And we're in trade for a great game. I just feel it, you know. And Levy said before the game he has a good feeling for this game as well. So we'll see. Jill Barr is asking on Twitch, what happened yesterday to the stream? I don't really know. Yeah, we had a disconnection. I'm sorry about that. I already said like apologies like 10 times. Maybe my cat destroyed the cable. I don't know. I ejected him out of the house. So in case this ever happens again. But on a serious note, I don't know. I'm going to check with the technicians. And I'm hoping this never happens again. Some interruptions or something. Yeah, there's with technology, you never know. All right, what do we have here? Let me check some questions. By the way, the viewers, I'll immediately mention that I'm following whatever you're saying on all Levy's channels, Twitch and YouTube. I had the windows open, answering some questions. Am I reading the chat? Yes, I'm reading the chat. I do not read all of the chat because sometimes it just scrolls very quickly. I'm selecting some random questions that I like the most. So if you feel like you want to ask some questions about Levy, about our training process, you can do that. Please do not ask me questions about which book to select to become a better player. I get it like 5 times every stream. And thank you for watching. I think here Alberto is gonna spend like extra 5 minutes or so and then make a move. It's a very interesting, fascinating position. You can play it like in a million ways. If Levy is gonna win this, Bogdan is asking on Twitch, how many rating points will he gain or lose? Good question. So, at the moment, Levy stands at -6 or 7. I'm not sure. So, if Levy wins this, he is gonna be basically equal, playing at his elo right now. If Levy draws, he's gonna be about -5. If Levy loses, he's going to be -10. But of course, we hope it never happens. In the first 2 tournaments after his return to competitive chess, pursuing the Grandmaster title, in both tournaments, Levy gained about 20 points, 25 on average. So he started 23-22, I believe, and now he's 23-70. And in order to become a Grandmaster, there's 4 requirements. 3 are getting 3 Grandmaster norms. 2 of them need to be, I'm sorry, not 2 of them, but at least 1 of them needs to be achieved in an open tournament, like this one. And you can do the rest in closed round-robin tournaments, which are designed to give chances for the title seekers. Because if you play an open tournament, it's always a gamble. I mean, you never know. You basically need to start strong. You could be even having 4 out of 4. You could be having a score 8 out of 9. Win the tournament with a huge margin. And you're still not getting the GM norm. Why is that? maybe you did not get 3 Grandmasters. Or maybe you didn't have enough countries because you need to have at least like 3. Your opponents need to be from 3 separate countries. Maybe you didn't get enough Tata players, like you need 6 Tata players out of 9 to get the norm. So it's a bit random, but that's a requirement. And the 4th requirement after the 3 norms is the 2500 ELO rating. So Levy, since his return, has gained 50 points already, and he needs 130 more. It's a lot. And that's why this is going to be a very exciting road. I don't think Levy's going to do it like in half a year, and he's perfectly aware of this. I would expect like 3 years. I think this is realistic, considering that Levy's not starting from 2450, but he's starting from 2320. 3 years, approximately, more or less. Maybe a bit faster. Alberto is still thinking. I think he's going to make the choice very soon. You definitely don't want to overthink things so early. Below Bo Dodo is asking, I mentioned Polish players prep well yesterday. What differences do I see in strategy between cultures? Well, I noticed that Indian players in general are very good calculators in general. And this basically confirms what one of the most famous chess coaches in the world, R.B. Ramesh from India, he said that when you are prepping the youngsters, you work on tactics first. Tactics, tactics, tactics. And that's it. Because very often, everything is decided with a simple shot, some tricks, at least at the younger level, and then they teach positional things later. So for Indians, at the younger age, they are very good calculators. They see tactics, but maybe they're not that good when it comes to endgames because they pick it up a bit later. In general, there's always an exception, of course. But for other cultures, I'm not sure. For Poland, I would say it's mainly good prep and openings. I suppose it depends on the coaches, how they're coaching chess, because there's like so many ways to do it. As long as the students get to the desired result, it doesn't matter. If it works, it works. Let me see. Does your writing there? Yeah, Alberto is still thinking. This is the final round, yes. Montoya is asking YouTube, so Levy just registered for the Open tournament. Were there really no tournaments in USA? I'm pretty sure there were. And later,